here we go. New book, new music, same low-effort intro. Let's have some fun. Of course, we'll begin with the Ninja no Chigiri. I am Ninja. My parents are the heaven and the earth. My home is my body. My power is loyalty. My magic is training. My life and my death is breathing. My body is control. My eyes are the sun and the moon. My ears are sensitivity. My laws are self-protection. My strength is adaptability. My ambition is taking every opportunity with fullness. My friend is my mind. My enemy is carelessness. My protection is right action. My weapons are everything that exists. My strategy is one foot in front of the other. My trust is in Quan. My way is the way of the tiger. Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry, and as you probably guessed by the intro, tonight I'm going to play some more of The Way of the Tiger. I should have probably done this a few days ago, but I was feeling pretty unwell. I've been under the weather a bit lately, some kind of nasty throat infection, lots of coughing and spluttering, and it's not been very nice. Ooh. To slightly further complicate things, I have a partially built Kingdom Death miniature on my mouse mat and keyboard, which I'll be working around, mainly trying to work out where one little piece is going to go. I'm not going to really look at it until I finish recording, but it will bother me and I may be distracted by it, so I'm going to place that over there. And I'm going to hope that's all out of the way now. Here we go. It is a glorious and sunny morning, the first day of Demondim, when you set out with Glavus the Ranger from the city of Tor. Glavus has done much to prepare those people of his city who might be relied upon to fight against evil should Honoric lead the Legion of the Sword of Doom to war, but he believes it is safe to leave the city for the month of Demondim. He has recently survived an attempt on his life by the Assassin's Guild, and he has heard that one Mandrake, Guildmaster of Assassins in faraway Wargrave Abbas, has spread the word that he is interested in your whereabouts. Glavus suggests that you leave the well-trodden paths of the many towns and villages around Tor behind and strike out north towards the deep forest of Arkadan. We could agree, or we could argue that we would like to make quicker progress by using the roads. I believe we were offered two routes, one of which would attract more attention, and the other of which would be more stealthy, which is the route we chose. I don't recall any specific sense of urgency, any necessity to reach our objective by a certain date. There was no religious festival coming up, or there weren't prisoners who needed to be rescued, we have no reason to hurry. Glavis the Ranger is an expert at travelling around in the wilderness. Now, we are no stranger to travelling around in the wilderness ourselves. But our main area of expertise here is religious matters and martial arts. We are a monk, not a ranger. Glavis is the expert here, unless he's like completely incompetent, but he's proved himself to be competent and useful so far. This would be Mandrake, the same Guildmaster of Assassins who made an attempt on our life in Wargrave Abbas in the second book. Clearly he wants to finish the job. Now, it could be argued that even if Glavis is mistaken, taking the more concealed path, staying away from towns and villages so we're less likely to be noticed on the approach, is a good idea. Because Glavis may be recognized while we are not. And if evil enemies notice he is on the move, they might question why he is travelling in this area, in this direction. And that additional attention might reveal my presence also. Additionally, this is on his own doorstep. He knows the countryside here. I will take his advice. The only reason to make haste would be if we have limited food supplies and we're not just setting out right now. If our non-food provisions were also running low, or if we were angry and impatient and wanting to exact justice and feeling that it would be a waste of time to dawdle. No, we will absolutely take his advice. And I am still recovering from illness. My throat is dry and a bit raspy. You probably can't hear it because I'm making an extra effort to be soft, but hey. You turn north together and lope towards a horizon where low hills are swathed in a blue-green haze of forest. Glavis covers the ground as quickly and untiringly as you, and you settle down for the night at the forest's edge. He tells you that, like many forests, the forest of Arcadan brings its dangers, but that, with his guidance, you should avoid most of them. He cautions you that should you become lost, you must head north towards the mountains of Horn, before turning east, and at all costs avoid the crypts of Arcadan in the forest's heart. Your night is troubled by dark dreams. The malice of the gods of evil seems to be withering your heart, turning its edges black and dead. As you sleep, your mind fills with the vision of a gigantic black bubbling cauldron, inside which some unnatural fiend is being brewed by mighty and dark minds. I'm gonna just whack this down as a clue. So go north to the mountains, then east, and avoid the crypts. We do have a map. So, City of Tor. So there's the rift. Irsmuncast is where we are headed. Not in Doomover, are we? City of Tor. Right, head north, hit the forest of head north to the mountains of Horn, go east. Pretty simple and straightforward so far. It feels almost as if these directions are being given to us directly because we are about to be separated from him. But who knows? We may be required to be separated from him. I believe he will be alive in later books, so we probably should not leave him to die. If he gets in great trouble. Although he is competent and may be able to survive a certain amount of trouble. On the next day you plunge deep into the forest, which is filled with beautiful trees and ferns, majestic elms canopy the brown-leaved ground dappled in sunshine. A leopard, unseen by you but not Glavis, stares down from the crooked limb of a plane tree. Soon the ground becomes moist and mossy, and the leaf carpet gives way to marsh, marigolds, and spidergrass. Despite the beauty of your surroundings, a feeling of grim foreboding oppresses you. Glavis shouts a sudden warning, and you look around, but the danger is from above. Another leopard hangs on top of you, biting and raking with its claws. Oh, lands on top of you. You fall to the ground, lose 4 endurance, and then leap up as the leopard is on you again. Glavis is bounding towards you. Will you try to block as the leopard springs, or meet it with an iron fist punch? Ooh, now, hold on a moment. This is a leopard, right? Blocking seems very wise if Glavis is coming to help anyway. Why is this leopard attacking us? We haven't done very much to antagonize it. Neither are we wounded or weak with exhaustion. Is it magically controlled? This feels unusual. Why did it decide we were vulnerable? Well, while we ponder that momentarily, very momentarily, I think I may have just worked out where the missing piece goes. No, I haven't. It just looked like it. Okay. So, blocking, good defensive move. We have the iron rods in our sleeves to protect ourselves, and depending on the angle of the claws and where it strikes, we have a degree of protection. Punch it in the face as it comes right for us. That's the sort of straightforward sort of throw and almost boxer punch, isn't it? Though not from like a boxer guard exactly. Help is coming. So I think this is a sort of punch the shark on the nose kind of situation. But this is before Australians started shark punching. Yeah, apparently in Australia they do this thing called shark punching, where they'll a few of them will get in a boat, sort of row out, probably, or like sail out to somewhere where there's sharks, and then sort of one guy will, like, you know, antagonize a shark a bit, stick his hand in the water, and then as it comes up to bite him, he'll punch it on the nose. Apparently that stops it dead in its tracks, and it doesn't want to hurt you anymore. That being said, people didn't start talking about that till about 5 or 10 years after this book came out. Wait. Big cats do rake, don't they? They grab and pin down and then rake with their claws. Yeah, blocking might not be the best idea, because we can stop its forepaws and mouth maybe with the arms, but then the hind legs will just like rip us to shreds. The punch may be the way to go. Or it's a death. It's a straight up auto kill. I suppose we're about to find out. The speed of the leopard takes you quite by surprise, far faster than a man, as I was expecting. As it springs at your throat, you lash out quickly with your fist. Its defense against the leopard's defense against the iron fist punch is a 7. And it looks like we are in a proper fight. Okay. Should we call the leopard Giuseppe di Lampedusa? Come on, people, come on. Giuseppe di Lampedusa. He was an Italian prince, or sort of Sicilian prince. He wrote a novel called The Leopard in the late medieval or early Renaissance period. Well, no, maybe later than that, but I know what the last one or two sentences roughly are. I've got a copy somewhere, never read it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should dig it out someday. Apparently a film was made of it at some point. A black and white film back in the 1930s or 40s. But it was apparently interesting that it was written by a prince and not just a commoner. You know. Anyway, we're fighting a leopard. Our punch modifier is +1, which means, of course, 11. Excellent stuff. What a punch. A punch for 3 points of damage. Takes it down to a 10. However, this means Glavis is less likely to be able to assist us. Wait. If the leopard is too fast for you and you miss, turn to number 36 and probably get absolutely mullered. If not, you jolt it backwards as Glavis speaks a soothing word. Word! Not world. If not, you jolt it backwards as Glavis speaks a soothing word, then the leopard turns tail and is soon lost to sight, its spots merging with the dappled sunlight. As you journey on, Glavis tells you where to watch out for leopards lurking in the trees. Advice that is appreciated, although may have been appreciated even more a little bit earlier. Glavis leads you on through the silent forest. The trees crowd in and you are walking uphill through a deep green gloom of straight pine trees. At last, the ranger brings you out to a leaf-littered clearing where you stop to rest. There are signs that some man-like being has lived in the clearing. You point them out, and Glavis says, "The forest sprites, they are mischief makers, and sometimes worse, but I had hoped they might help us. They are in my debt." "I haven't seen any sign of them before," you say, and Glavis replies, "They are avoiding us, but take care of your belongings." Ooh, okay. Even if they don't try to pinch our stuff, we're aware. See, this is role-playing. Right there. As the gloom deepens, the sense of dread that invaded your sleep yesternight descends again. When it is your turn to sleep, your slumber is fitful and the dreams return to haunt you. You see huge, threatening figures. One, hawk-faced, is more than 100 feet tall. It is standing in Dis, the iron city of the underworld. Before it, something is being created in a gigantic black bubbling cauldron. You can see a loathsome winged fiend like a son of Nil, shimmering in the steam. Then the dream changes. A great white leopard stalks towards you. Then you realize it is not a leopard, but the blue-eyed spirit tiger that serves your god Quan the Redeemer. She seems to be saying that when the malice of the gods of evil bears black fruit, you must seek her on the spirit plains, where you wandered with the Grandmaster of the Dawn. When you awake, Glavis is preparing a breakfast of nuts and roots, and as soon as you have eaten, you set off again. That's a... Just making a note there. When evil rears its ugly head, seek the tiger in the spirit realms. We're being drawn steadily back towards the beginning of the book, the last few sections. On the next day, your progress becomes slower as you wind your way over a series of forested gullies, telling Glavis of your dreams as you go. He says that he is unable to reach the spirit planes, but he gives you a piece of mandrake root, like a little misshapen man, and says that if you wish to reach the spirit plane, eating the root will help to prepare your mind for the journey. As night approaches, it begins to rain, and the moisture soaks slowly through the trees. Well, we will absolutely take our mandrake root. Obviously, if some kind of monster appears right in front of us, we won't have time to eat that. So we will need to have suitable warning to seek this assistance. And if we do not do so, things may not go well for us. And we're going the complete opposite direction, almost to the back of the book entirely. And whoa, those letters are scanned in oddly, haven't they? Okay. The steady beating of the rain on the treetops lulls you to sleep, only to dream again of the evil gods and their hatred of you. Once more you see the hawk-faced figure. Its eyes are black and its skin silver. It is Nemesis, Lord of the Cleansing Fire, the supreme principle of evil. Ooh, what a picture. I think this... yeah, it looks like a cauldron, doesn't it? Before the god, the black cauldron bubbles, and a loathsome fiend bursts at you suddenly from beneath the surface and looks at you. Its eyes are hooded and black. Its face glistens silver in the moonlight. It has no mouth and chin. Instead of hands, it has 2 spikes of bone like blunted horns. Suddenly, it spreads huge black leathery wings and launches its bulk into the night. You know that it is coming for you. You wake with a start of a thrill of fear. You wake with a start to a thrill of fear. You can hear nothing, but you know something is wrong. Glavis stands stock still on watch. He seems on edge, and you cannot hear any of the night sounds that should fill the forest. An unnatural chill gust of wind whips the leaves into a whirlpool before you, and Glavis starts uneasily. Will you eat the mandrake root and try to call the spirit of the tiger? Absolutely! Launch yourself into a winged horse kick at the whirlpool of leaves, or walk towards Glavis and wait to see what happens. I think the dream was pretty evident warning. We will eat the mandrake root, which may be poisonous. But again, he knows his stuff. He's an experienced ranger. The root tastes bitter, but its juices have an immediate effect, seeming to muddy your thoughts. You decide to try to find the spirit tiger on the spirit plane. The leaves are still swirling in the chill wind. Will you try to project your mind into the spirit plane by force of will, or meditate and try to set your mind free from the shackles of your body? Obviously the latter. You don't force meditation, it needs to come calmly and naturally. I don't meditate myself. I suffer from the mind monkey. It chitters and chatters away, and I can't empty my mind. Using your power of mind over matter, you force yourself to ignore the threat that seems about to confront you and relax utterly. The root has freed your mind from the ties of belief which bind it to your body, and your spirit flies free. You feel yourself floating gently upwards, and below you can see Glavis and the top of your own head, but Glavis cannot see you. He starts as a dark shape begins to take the place of the swirling leaves, but your spirit is borne away suddenly by a gust of ethereal wind. In sudden panic, you realize that you can hardly help yourself here on the spirit plane, but you dimly sense pathways stretching through the ether. The dark shape looms behind you. Yes, it's coming for me, not him. The beast, whatever it is, has managed to follow you onto the spirit plane. Quite rightly so. The wind whirls you towards a parting of ways, and something tells you that the right-hand path leads towards the gates of heaven, while the left leads toward the Elysian fields. You struggle to take one of the paths. Will you take the right-hand path or the left? Ooh. Now. So the Elysian fields is Greek mythology, heaven is Christian mythology. Quan, we had a gate. A left to the Elysian fields. Because I'm not entirely certain, Fighting Fantasy rule left is best. Also, odd number, even number. And we know Jamie Thomson wrote all the odd numbers, and the other writer wrote all the even numbers, and Jamie Thomson likes writing failures and auto kills. So left it is, and hopefully I'll be okay. Now, that is not a piece of knowledge I should rely upon too frequently. Hey, it's an auto kill! Somehow your mind gropes its way to the left-hand path, and then the ethereal wind blows you onwards. Before you lie the Elysian fields, paradise, but it is ringed by a tall, unbroken wall of thorns. Behind you is a dark shadow which looms ever larger, the spirit of the fiend from the pit. It can travel the byways of the ether as easily as you would walk down a flagged road. Your helpless silvery form is blown onward, and you cannot stop yourself being impaled on the wall of thorns which protects the Elysian fields. You are helpless as the fiend grabs you in its horny embrace. Then all goes dark. The terrible ringing of the great bell of Dis, the iron city of the underworld, reverberates around your skull. All around you is cold iron. You have been carried away to hell, where you will suffer eternal torment. Well, bugger. That's not ideal. What was it, 114 to eat the... Interesting, though. So I did seem to remember there being mention of heaven, but I was thinking, but that's to the right and it's an odd number. I couldn't remember much. If we go back to... I didn't want to go all the way back to the beginning. 14. I know what I'm doing. I'm retracing the steps to see if there were any clues in the vision itself. Shinren. Wait. This is learning from a master. So we're just getting to the actual meditation itself. 291. No, yes, I remembered the gates and the silver pathway and the impression of stairs. I'd forgotten the cherries, but I had a feeling it was kind of heavenly. So yes, clearly, that is. I didn't want to go look it up. Yeah, 104, not 114. Right. And relax. Frankie goes to Hollywood, can fuck off. I'm just talking about the option there. I imagine a lot of you wouldn't like the episode to end quite that early, and that's rather an unfortunate auto kill to get at this point. So this is, remember, the Fighting Fantasy rule is a default if you don't have a better reason to go the other way. Heaven, capitalized, was the main clue there. I had a feeling I should lean towards it, but wasn't entirely certain. So let's try and take that right-hand path, because it's not the right-hand path, it's the heaven clue. Ooh, went a bit too far there. Oh, is that going to be like the Wild Hunt? Are we getting like a multi-faith thing? Okay. Somehow your mind gropes its way to the right-hand path, and then the ethereal wind bowls you onwards. Behind you is a dark shadow which looms ever larger, the spirit of the fiend of the pit. I mean, look, if I go back to the beginning and replay up to this point, all I'm going to do is re-roll to see how my modifiers change. And arguably, I'm starting at section 1, so I don't re-roll that. So the only thing I would have re-rolled is the tiger encounter, right? So I'm not really changing that much at this point. Let's go back to the beginning of the section. Somehow your mind gropes its way to the right-hand path, and then the ethereal wind bowls you onwards. Behind you is a dark shadow which looms ever larger, the spirit of the fiend of the pit. It can travel the byways of the ether as easily as you would walk down a flagged road. Ahead of you is a gleaming archway, beyond which is a silver pathway stretching up into the clouds. Right, fuck it. Do the whole sentence again. Ahead of you is a gleaming archway, beyond which a silver pathway stretches up into white clouds. Cherubs who once flocked around its pillars are racing away from the silver path, but the guardian angel of the gateway to the seven heavens stands resolute. He is clad in flawless white armour from head to foot, and his face is like that of a saintly paladin. You may not pass. His voice sounds a sorrowful but dire warning. The fiend from the pit is taking shape behind you once more, and the guardian angel looks grimly determined, feet braced wide on the steps to the gateway. The feet of your silvery ethereal form are on the bottom step. Will you tell the guardian angel that you seek the spirit tiger? Yes! Try to slip past the guardian angel using whatever skill you have, perhaps acrobatics, or call the spirit tiger as loudly as I can. Yes, no, that. Absolutely call for the spirit tiger. Because then the guardian angel will know what I'm doing here anyway, right? He's not going to get out of the way and let me go past. But I will call out for its aid. And look at that picture. That's got to be a good sign. That looks like a Skeksis, doesn't it? As soon as you call, a sinuous form takes shape behind the guardian angel on the silver road. It is a perfect tiger, but her fur is white and her eyes blue. The spirit tiger, servant of Quan, the Redeemer. The fiend's face creases in feral rage as it realizes it has been denied its quarry even at the instant of the kill. The magnificent spirit tiger, flawless and powerful, launches herself at the grisly fiend, and a bloody battle begins. The usually calm spirit tiger bites and rakes her claws at the fiend with bestial ferocity, although her head is belaboured by crushing blows from the arms of Horn. At last, the fiend from the pit realizes that death is about to take it. The horns score deep furrows down the spirit tiger's flank, but her jaws finally meet in the fiend's neck. Its grisly form shrivels and is gone, but its soul, like a blackened and shriveled grub, is left to be carried back to the underworld on the ethereal wind. You are about to offer prayers and thanks to the spirit tiger when the guardian angel speaks a single word. Landimion. And you find your mind pouring itself back into your inert body. That may be important. The double L obviously makes it sound Welsh. Is it 311? 331. And we'll take off that mandrake root. That was quick, wasn't it? Right. Glavis starts with relief as he sees you move again, for your body has been absolutely still. You tell him what has happened and settle down once more to take what rest you can, free of the feeling of malice that had so darkened your thoughts of late. You rise the next day and continue your journey. Oof. As you leave the green gloom of the forest behind you, warmed by bright sunlight, you see in the distance gentle rolling hills, golden with ripening corn. A river valley runs southeast away from you towards an anvil-shaped pall of dark cloud. "Do not be deceived by the tamed beauty of the hills," says Glavis. "That corn will feed only slaves. We cannot scale the mountains to the north. We must use guile and stealth to cross these accursed lands. From this point be on your guard against half-orcs, orcs, the priests of death, and—" he drops his voice a shade, "Ganar. That cloud hangs over the city called the Walls of Shadow. Only those steeped in evil live there. It is one of the few cities from which every last mission chapel of the gods of good have been driven forth." Glavis says little more, and you walk on in silence. You're about to ask who or what is Ganar when you reach the banks of the small river. Cresting the hills behind is a high hedge. Glavis calls it the Palisade of Thorns, and you must scale it to detour many miles. There's supposed to be two evil, like liches. City of the Runes of Doom. We don't want to go there. Grey Dawn. So we're somewhere around Walls of Shadow. We do not want to go there. So we're sort of here-ish. Forest of Passing. Okay. This feels like a choice I'm about to have to make. So why am I being redirected first? Oh shit, that looks like Honoric. Anyway. Yeah. You wade the river and carefully climb the hill. The outside of the palisade has not been trimmed, and you are able to clamber to the top without being pricked by any of its poisonous thorns, then leap to the cornfield beyond. The inside of the hedge is newly cut and overhangs. It is designed not to keep people out, but to keep them in. There are mud brick guard huts at intervals around the perimeter to either side, and you both drop to your bellies to worm your way through the ripening corn, which grows so close that you cannot avoid leaving a narrow tunnel of flattened straw behind you. A black hawk's cry startles you, and you look up to see the great bird circling above you before veering away ahead of you and to the right, so we don't go that way. We're probably about to be pursued. This is like a slave plantation, right? So that's also bad news if we get caught. Glavis hopes that it may have been just a wild bird, but you continue to worm your way stealthily through the corn. But before... no. Glavis hopes that it may have been just a wild bird, and you continue to worm your way stealthily through the corn, but before long, the Black Hawk returns to circle high above you, crying loudly. Will you try to silence it with a shuriken? That seems like a really good idea. Get up and run, continue to crawl on your belly, turning to the left, or crawl back the way you have come, so that we're in the middle of the flattened path, and they don't know where we are. I have, I believe, 5 throwing stars, and I would not be averse to using one of them. Although if we take the bird down, it definitely reveals we are absolutely here, but we can move after we silence it, right? You stand up and oh, for fuck's sake! You stand up and send a throwing star skywards with a single fluid movement. It sparkles in the sun, but the Black Hawk is too high, and the shuriken falls harmlessly to the ground, lost in the corn. There is a shout to your right, and you turn to see a band of 20 or so half-orcs, crossbreeds as tall as men but with orcish features. They are dressed in brown leather armour and carry spears and bullwhips. Glavis curses you for a fool and calls you to follow him before setting off to the northeast at a run, and you follow. Oh, what a waste. I am making all the bad choices tonight, apparently. That is truly unfortunate. Well, we better leg it now. Maybe that was one of the best of a worse option, but nah, probably not. You both break cover and the chase is on. Half-orcs brandishing their spears and bullwhips, trot along, breaking down the corn like a pack of wolves following their prey. You can run faster than they, but as the Black Hawk wheels through the air and then flies off ahead of you, you decide not to tie yourselves yet, content with simply keeping them at a distance. After a few minutes' hard work running through the corn, you espy a group of men and women chained together and wearing soiled rags, breaking rocks in a fallow field. Orcish overseers chivvy them with slave lashes. You skirt around them, and some of the orcs take up the chase, while the slaves stare dully, treating your sudden appearance as no more than a break in the monotonous drudgery of their hopeless lives, for no one ever escapes from within the palisade of thorns. Yeah, I think we were warned about this place earlier. As you run, Glavis says that there are guard huts all around the hedge, which is 20 miles round. Wherever you try to scale it, you will have to fight, so he suggests you run east, for where you wish to go, avoiding as much trouble as you can. Twice you turn south to avoid new parties of guards, until it feels as though a multitude of orcs and half-orcs are closing in from all sides, and still the Black Hawk circles above you. At last, you see the other side of the palisade of thorns and sprint through the rippling corn before any guards stationed there can group together to repulse or capture you. As the hedge looms near, you are startled as a row of 10 half-orcs rise suddenly from crouching positions in the corn. You are running towards their spear points. If you have the skill of arrow cutting, we absolutely do! If not, well, let's just be grateful that we do, because it looks like 5 damage. One of the half-orcs hurls a spear at you, but you knock it aside with ease. Excellent. Let's carry on. Glavis' sword is like a rod of red ruin as he meets the grotesque half-orcs in combat. 4 of them cluster around you, jabbing with their spears. You are unable to block. For each attack you are forced to make, you stand a chance of being wounded. You decide to use kicks to batter them senseless. 4 half-orcs. Oh. 4 9s. Gotcha. Okay. Each time you attack, you must make a fate roll. If you score 1 or 2 on one die, you have been hit. If you... Okay. Got it. On either. If you win... Okay, so we're just doing a regular kick. That's 2 kicks to kill. 1 die each. Do you see a... Oh, no, I get it. Yeah, okay. Every time you... Okay, no, I'm with you now. Right, I was going to say, what's my defense against them? It's the fate roll. Taking down an orc doesn't reduce the chance of me being hit. A half-orc, rather. Their defense is 5. My kick modifier is +2. Right, okay. I shall kick the first one. So, do I use inner force? I will use a point of inner force on this first kick. I think I need to be conservative and not waste it. Felling foes quickly will not reduce the chance of me taking damage, but every round I can reduce the total fight duration by is less damage for me to take. So, given that I'm hitting really easily, so that is 7, 14 damage. The first half-orc is defeated. Then we will make the fate roll. A 1 and a 6. We are struck for 3 points of damage. And this is why we need to end the fight quickly. I will kick within a force again. Reluctantly. Look, I'm going to hit him, right? Unless something really terrible happens. So that is 12 damage. The second half-orc is down. Then I go for my luck roll. 6 and a 5. I am totally fine. I will go for a normal kick, which hits for 5 points of damage. This is where I'm starting to get into danger, right? Then I'll have my luck roll. A 5 and a 2. I'm struck again. 6 damage. See now, right, with 7 endurance remaining, this is why I'm needing to try and win quickly. So I'll go for a normal kick on the one that, as long as I roll a 2+, yep, taking him out. Absolutely fine. Luck roll is 2d6. A 2 and a 5. Oh, I'm fucked. 2 more damage. Right. Given how dangerous this fight is if I don't use inner force. Right, I am going for an inner force kick again. Try and end this one. Because otherwise I am probably dead. That is a kick. That is 14 damage. I walk away from this with a very low amount of endurance points. But I do get to walk away. So I like that is a good way to get rid of my points, my inner force points, right? Because of the urgency. I see the Fiend from the Pit. I'm presuming that's the same one I've avoided, being fought in the physical realm. No. It's not built like a man, but it may once have been one. Not the same thing. Okay. The bodies of the half-orcs lie around you in a corn. Can I use them to make a sort of ramp? Glavis wipes his sword dry and you climb the palisade of thorns to find a barren heathland beyond. I just hope there is an opportunity to heal. As you look back to the hedge of thorns, you are dismayed to see a concealed gateway opening in its side and 50 or more half-orcs pouring out of it. As the Black Hawk still circles above you, you run on, covering the ground more easily now that you are out of the corn. Glavis suggests that you keep going. He is more worried at the prospect of other, more powerful minions of death learning that you are abroad than by the half-orcs, and he regrets that he has not brought his longbow. The half-orcs cannot match your pace, but any orcs among them will be able to track you by smell. Glavis tells you the land between here and the city of the Runes of Doom is dotted with forbidding castles around a flat plain called the Slave Fields. You slip past a turreted keep and at dusk onto the slave fields. The slaves are staked out under canvas awnings next to the fields which they are harvesting. There are orcish guards of each group. Glavis tells you that by order of the Fleshless King, only orcs may be used as overseers, as they have never been known to show humans the slightest compassion. Glavis motions you to hide with him behind a tree and then puts a choice to you. He fears that the gods of evil may have found a way to let the Fleshless King know who you are. The Black Orc is gone, but vampire bats flit past. The choice is between running on all night or trying to creep under one of the canvas awnings to hide. Right. These are both bad choices. I shall explain. We run all night, we get tired, we get exhausted, we potentially run into dangerous, horrible monsters. There's lots of undead in the area as well. If we try to hide with the slaves, then we wake up in the morning with some orc digging his spear in our ribs going, "Wakey, wakey, new slave, get to work." Actually being more like, "Oh, you shitface, get up and work, you bastard." Yeah, I think we're going to have to run all night on this one, unfortunately. Rest would be amazing, but I don't think we can take the risk. As you run on, alert for any sign that you have been discovered and thankful that the ranger is so stealthy, he tells you of the spectral company. They are 9. Each was once a baron, lord of many men. They came from the city of Grey Dawn and worshipped the god of empire, Moraine. They were the 9 generals who led the men of Grey Dawn in search of empire on a quest to conquer the Valley of the Lich Kings, which in those days was called the Valley of Grain. The fleshless king was newly returned from the dead and, still active those centuries ago, he rode at the head of his troops. The power of his magic cast down the generals, and he took them to be his servants, killing them and bringing their tormented bodies back to life. Now, in the form of spectres which can suck a man's life from him with a touch, they cow everyone in the valley. Their leader, Ganar, is a powerful sorcerer, the fleshless king's brother, differing from him only in that his body has retained its cloak of flesh, and the fact that a part of his brain festered many centuries ago. It would also seem that Glavis has some prior experience of Ganar. Possibly he lost a loved one to him. I'm not sure, but let's continue on now that we have been warned. A warning which I feel may become relevant in the future. As you run on, unflagging, a faint but doleful cry is borne to you on the wings of the night wind. You look to Glavis in the starlight, and he says, "That was no mortal cry. That is the cry of the sylph imprisoned in the great keystone above the west gate of the city of the Runes of Doom. It is a signal that Ganar leads the spectral company forth tonight." Glavis gives you a small crystal vial. "It is holy water, blessed in the name of the All-Mother. Cast it at the faces of the undead at need." You swallow nervously at the grim expression on the ranger's face. "We could turn north towards the mountains," he suggests. "Will you turn north or continue east?" We do have a small crystal vial of holy water. Well, if we go north towards the mountains, we can maybe get a bit of high ground to protect ourselves, right? If we go directly east, it's all about, are we going to be discovered, right? If we're going to be discovered, there's an argument for heading directly east in the direction we're already going, rather than taking a detour. Heading north is to try and find a defensible position. Did he not warn us that the mountains are inhospitable? He said we can't climb the mountains, didn't he? Forest of passing, Grey Dawn. Heading towards Grey Dawn is going to be bad, right? That's where they came from. I would like to go to the mountains for some reason. They may not even be chasing us, in which case getting out of the way. They probably are, right? They probably are, let's be honest here. But let's try. You run for many miles towards the mountains which tower blackly above you. Your acute sense of hearing picks up the sound of distant hoofbeats and a chill runs down your back. You tell Glavis that there are 4 horses approaching, and he says, "They have found us. We must make a stand." You climb quickly towards a narrow canyon mouth flanked by sheer cliffs and wait, which is probably better than just being caught out in the open in the lowlands. Perhaps I made a good choice. We can Diablo Dorum in the bottleneck. Allegedly. Unless something comes out and mauls us from behind. Oh, yeah, I see 3 ghostly figures on horseback. You do not have long to wait. 4 figures on horseback approach at a slow walk. Their countenances are cruel, and they seem to look upon you with contempt. These do not appear to be approaching at a slow walk. Are these... Over guardian angel... yeah. You can see right through them, and their clothes, once garish martial finery, are now no more than a ghostly shimmering. But the might of their evil intelligence is almost palpable as they advance to take you. Glavis unrolls a scroll of parchment and begins to chant as two of them charge you. If you wish to attack using your martial arts skills straight away, turn to section 224. If you would like to try some other form of attack, perhaps with a crystal vial of holy water flung at their faces, turn to section 231, which we will blatantly do. As the nearest spectre charges, you take out the vial of holy water which Glavis gave you and hurl it at the shimmering face of the nearest spectre knight. Make a shuriken roll. The spectre makes no move to defend itself, and you must score a 6 or more to hit. I don't think we get a shuriken modifier, do we? No, okay, so it's just a straight 2d6 roll. Oh, joy. Four and 3 is 7. Excellent. We have succeeded. That's good. Anything we can do to reduce their numbers is great. The vial smashes in the spectre's face, and there is an unearthly scream as the holy water cuts like a powerful acid into the undead monster. It clasps its face in helpless anguish and sets spurs to its warhorse, which promptly bolts, leaving you with only one foe to deal with. But you have no holy water left. Glavis is still chanting as the second spectre charges you. It towers above you on its warhorse, and you decide to dodge, then launch yourself into a high kick to try and knock it from the saddle. The spectre's defense as it tries to claw your leg is 8. If you fail, but are carrying a locket given to you by the slave girl, Griselle, I don't think I am. Otherwise, but yeah, okay, so that's rough. We probably can't afford to be hit. No locket. Right. We probably would have got that if we tried to hide with the slaves. Then we would have had to run away anyway, and the fiends, undead fiends, would have chased us. Okay, well, this is a kick, mind. So it's a kick roll. Oh! 4 and 2 is 6, plus our kick modifier 2 is 8. Oh shit, but we have to get over defense to hit, don't we? Bollocks. We dead? Otherwise, the cold talons of a spectre rake your leg and your very life force is drawn from you. Subtract 2 from all your modifiers. If you reach -5, you will be helpless to resist as the life force is drawn out of you and you become a shadow in the service of the spectre. Until then, you can try to kick again. So basically, so now we're kicking at, so -5, so 3, if he hits me 3 times. However, I'm also dead, aren't I? No actual damage. Okay. Well, I just need to roll 1 higher. But it's now... Fuck. Okay, good. So we got to -4 on all modifiers. Oh, shit. Does that mean we missed by 1 again? I think it does. Bugger. I should have clearly removed the holy water before making any rolls. Just, you know, proper procedure. So, our initial kick. So that should have been -2. Oh, for fuck's sake, we failed again and we're dead. Right, so clearly, I fucked up. I should have removed the holy water correctly here, then I can roll the dice, right? Fucking hell, world. Why are you being so horrible to me tonight? Right, okay. So we've removed the holy water, and we're going to attempt our first kick against the Spectre. Yeah, right. There we go. Finally. Fucking hell. Oh my god. World does not like me tonight, apparently. I should probably just stop the episodes as soon as I can and go to bed. Take a nice break, get over it all. Try again another day, you know. Even though you can see right through the body of the Spectre, it is substantial enough. There is a great thump as it hits the ground and the warhorse bolts, but the Spectre seems unhurt, getting to its feet and reaching for you with its taloned hands. Oh, fucking hell. Will you try to throw it, then follow up with a winged horse kick? Use an iron fist punch or a leaping tiger kick. Trying to throw the ghost is probably bad, because it will be able to get its claws on me. I'll go leaping tiger kick instead, and hope Glavis can help, because I've got nothing here. The Spectre moves slowly, and you summon up all your strength to try and defeat it. If your attack fails, its talons will touch you, drawing the life spirit from your body. Yeah. Oh, for God's sake, 20 endurance. Fuck off! Yeah, this is just a dead, isn't it? This is a you don't win this fight because you got hurt by the orcs earlier. This is a fuck you, you bastard. We should have slept with the slaves, basically, at this point. Oh my god. Well, I'll know for next time. Right. At least I get to try and kick. That's a successful kick. Not that it matters, because he's still going to kill me. That is 5 damage, leaving 15. If I pull through this one, with going into a fight against 20 endurance with only 5 is like a fucking, you know, death sentence, basically. If you succeed in hitting the Spectre, you may kick again. If you failed, and you're carrying the locket given to you... Okay, so basically, if we fail, we are fucked. So defense 7. Okay, so as long as I can keep getting an 8 on the kicks, I'm allegedly okay. And I'm going to inner force this, because I really need to. Okay, 7 is 14. 1 point. I will go for one more kick, obviously, which fails. Then I die. 2, 2, 4. You fight as never before, whilst Glavis' scroll seems to have banished one of his foes, which turns to dust in moments. He has cast a Raise the Dead spell on the long undead warlord. You spin and kick, but the Spectre's cold touch draws the life force from you. You feel a chill in your heart, and the will to resist leaves you. As Glavis is forced back, you become a shadow in the service of the Spirit Knight who has slain you. Yeah, that was pretty predictable. Well, not the greatest episode. I'm pretty pissed off, actually. Probably just going to have to... Thing is, I can't even just, like, sit down and re-record the whole fucking thing, because I can't get rid of the dice log. So, yeah. I mean, I can blatantly try and cheat it. Fuck it. Do I want to?